Start my drive. Figured I'd continue discussing the topic of the 4 main things that are super important on improving health. So this one's just strictly on sleep. Sleep is definitely something that everyone wants to, would want to improve, but have a hard time, a difficult time. At least when I'm working with clients, I'll just kind of use that as the examples. I'll know many of them go and ask, of course, the basic question: how much sleep should I get per night? Or they'll ask, what are ways to improve my nightly routine or get deeper sleep? Is there supplements I should take? They'll, of course, ask things about the morning time, routine, what are things I can do throughout the day that could potentially improve how my sleep goes, or the quality of my sleep. So that's pretty much what I want to talk about today, or at least in this short little bit that I have while I'm driving. Sleep. Let's start with the amount of sleep. I know I previously said this, but as I've learned with working with clients, that repetition is key. That's how we really nail things down and actually put them into action. So creating a habit. It's also you hearing it multiple different ways, multiple different times. So with sleep, you want to aim for, typically they say, between 6 to 9 hours of sleep. There will be that window of people who, function really well with a little bit less than that, or function really well with more than that. But typically they're going to say 6 to 9 hours. And ideally, when a client asks me that, I let them know, okay, so let's figure it out. Let's trial and error. Find out how much sleep they're getting right now. If they have no idea, which 9 times out of 10, that's they round it off. They go I think I sleep between 7 and 8 hours. All right, sweet. Let's track it. Sounds annoying, but honestly, you're gonna get better results if you track your sleep and figure out where you're at. Because a lot of times what I found is people were off how much average sleep they got per night. Yeah, they may have had one night of 8 hours, but majority of the week they were completely wrong. So that's definitely something you want to try and do, is track your sleep. Nowadays is super easy to do that. You have so many different devices out there that you could use, whether that's going to just be wearing the wearables, of course, track it, from your Fitbit to Apple Watch, various different things that you can use to track your sleep. Way better than it used to be. And with that, you want to just, if you're hey, I don't like using big technology, or I can afford those things, cool, let's keep it simple. Write down when you go to sleep, write down when you wake up. Figure out how long that time between. Yeah, you're not going to be the most accurate, of course. They're not going to be as accurate as one of these wearables. And of course, they're going to be slightly off too. There's always that little bit of variance. But getting some form of tracking is always going to assist you. Something that's going off of the tracking is, once you can figure out, okay, where am I currently? Now you know where you currently are. Then you can lay out a plan to get you to where you need to be. So with that being said, you can figure, let's just take an example. Let's just say the person needs, just call him Fred. So Fred needs 8 hours a night. Figured out that 8 hours he feels really optimal. He doesn't get it very often, so he's right now averaging between 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep. So he definitely needs to try and improve the sleep. He's wondering, okay, where's my problem? Well, first off, he's setting his schedule to have 8 hours of sleep. So he's going to bed at 10 p.m. Shoot, 10 a.m., that sucks. 10 p.m. and he's getting up at 6 a.m. So the first thing I would recommend for Fred is, okay, now we know that's your sleep time. That's when you go to bed. You got to get up at 6 a.m. That can't be changed because you go in for work. All right, well, let's look at what you can change. Let's improve the time that you go to sleep. So let's bump it back to 9 p.m. Get in bed, be laying down at 9 p.m. Now, I'll get here in a little bit about how to get to that part of being able to go to bed at 9 p.m. with this example. So, Fred now set himself for 9 hours. The great thing is now is a way better chance he's going to get 8 hours. There's maybe some chances that he can get 8.5, but he definitely can get 8 hours. Typically, you giving yourself an extra hour is going to allow that time for if it takes a little bit for you to fall asleep. Maybe you're someone who's got to get up at night and pee a lot, or maybe you live in an area that just has startling noises and things like that. If you're wondering why the heck I'm leaning in my phone, trying to prevent it from falling over while I go over some bumps. Invest in a one of those things to hold my phone would be useful. Lost the item. I have no idea where it is. I think I may have actually gotten rid of the thing, and now I need it. Going into a Walmart parking lot is always crazy weird. Trying to get into these places with how many people park in this parking lot and the structure of their parking lot and everything. So here we go. Anyway, I'm going to continue this on the sleep. So Fred is now going to bed at 9. He's now getting his 8 hours actually. But he's having some difficulty though getting himself fall asleep. He's struggling with it. He is wondering what things can I do to improve my sleep routine at night. So my go-to recommendations for people is just keeping things simple for sure. So let's just say he's just like not consistently getting that going to sleep at 9. It's messing him up. He can't get everything done. He feels too wide awake when he lays down in bed. He's antsy, all that stuff, stressed, anxiety, all that. So one big thing that I like telling clients that when they ask like how can they improve their sleep routine is going through this basic mathematical equation that actually was I remember being taught this, and I'll simplify it a little bit more here in a moment. So it's 3, 2, 1. So 3 hours before you go to sleep, or before you lay down for sleep. So 3 hours before, you want to be done eating. So for this example, let's use Fred's idea of 9 p.m. he's in bed. So 3 hours before that, his last meal should end at 6. Should end. Not start, should end at 6. Based on this. And then 2 hours before he goes to sleep, he's going to cut off fluids. So water, anything. Just cut off fluids 2 hours before. Gives him that window to where his body should lower the chances of him waking up at night, having to go to sleep, go pee. So better quality sleep again. And then an hour before, he's going to stop looking at technology and all those things. So screens, get off the phone, turn the lights off, all that. So he's setting himself up for success. That would be the goal. That's the awesome idea. Is it as realistic as it could be? Possibly not. At least with the clients that I've had, probably not. And majority of you, probably not. And there's going to be somebody going like, dude, I do that all the time. I don't know what's the problem. Cool. Success. I'm glad it's working for you. But for most people, doing that at having your last meal 3 hours before, well, what happens if he gets off late? or if he has other plans and things, so he's meeting up with family or somebody and they want to meet and eat at 6 p.m. All right, now we introduce some different things, or just something in his life. You got kids, whatever. It's not as realistic, maybe. Cool. He's keeping everything simple. Let's go in the middle. 90 minutes before you go to bed. Just don't be eating, don't be drinking, anything. 90 minutes. Cool. Makes it simple, because now it's just one number you got to remember. One time you're going to cut all the stuff off in 90 minutes. And then another option I like doing for screens, I like giving people this, and this is going to sound crazy, but again, I just like telling people how and why I do it. I was that annoying kid that asked the question why all the time. I still ask the question why all the time. So with that, I like giving two options. Because if you provide multiple options for a person, the goal for me as a trainer is I don't care which option you choose, it's a win for me. I believe it's a win for the client, but that lessens the chances of the answer being no from them. So I want a yes. So how is it set up? Very similar like you teach a child. If you have a child and they're not cleaning their room, you give them two options instead of go clean your room because I know and freak out, right? So instead you give them two options. You go like, would you want to clean your room by picking up all the cars first? Or would you rather play so see who can pick up the most? You give them options. So same thing. So look at a client, done this several different times. I remember hearing this from another trainer. So this isn't like something I just randomly came up with, but it really does work. So look at them and go, okay. So getting off the screens before night, getting your face out of the screens, and why it's important is because the blue light signal to your brain, telling your brain that it's still daytime, it's tricking it to believe that it's not time to wind down. Hence why, again, if we, like back in the day, we didn't have electricity, had just candles and things to have your lighting, and obviously the sun was going down, your body had a natural way of knowing, okay, well, winding down, we're preparing for bed. We're preparing for sleep. But that's not the case right now. We got lights all the time. We got everything coming at us. You can obviously scroll social media all the time. And that's totally cool, but not cool for sleep. So what you could do is either turn it all off an hour before, turn the lights off, put all electronics away, turn them off, all that stuff, get ready for bed. Or you can get some blue light blocking glasses. Some legit ones, not those cheapos off of Amazon. You want a legit one. And in that way, that provides another option for the individual. And most of the time, yeah, they're probably going to choose the blue light blocking glasses because that allows them to still go on their phone or still watch a TV show or movie. Because some people, they'll say that it helps them fall asleep and everything. We can obviously go crazy in that conversation at some other time. So those are ways that I would tell Fred how to improve his nightly routine. So it sets him up for success. And the cool thing is with that, if you allow yourself during that last hour, because you're like, what do I do during that last hour? Or if you have your blue light blocking glasses, or maybe you turned all electronics off, you got barely any lights on right now, your routine could easily be, I'm just going to throw out things that a lot of people do, is just go brush your teeth. You could go, like maybe you're finishing up with your shower, you're doing some reading, something that's going to relax you, meditation, prayer, different things within that last hour. And then when you get in that bed and you're prepared, you've now calmed yourself. Your body's adapted now to realizing that it's time to go to sleep because you haven't sent that signal with the lights. and all the technology, you have less chances of you having to wake up to go to pee because of the fact that you cut off fluids earlier, or maybe you get to pee right before you go to bed. And then the added part is when you lay down to really help you calm down, like I said, meditation, pray, do some gratitude where you're just being able to go through, like I say, like top 3 things in your day that you can say that you're grateful for, or you're thankful that happened, that you were successful. And giving yourself that ending of the day instead of ending on a negative note, and being able to have a calming way to go to sleep. That's going to improve the quality. That's also going to improve your ability to go to sleep. Now, easy to say, hard to start. So, practicality to help you prepare for sleep is start with one of those things. Start with just one. Don't go all of them unless you're already doing a few of them, or you already are like you're that type of personality who can jump into it and do all of them. Go for it, but at least start with one of them. So what I would recommend to Fred is I would figure it out that person based on the individual person. So 9 times out of 10, most of the clients, the thing that I'm starting them with is, hey, okay, let's start with the blue light blocking classes, or let's start with the technology part of getting off of them, turning them off, all that stuff an hour before. We'll start with that. Then we'll back up and we'll use because that's going to improve the quality, help them fall asleep, improve quality. Yeah, they may wake up still to pee, but we can adjust that later. And then, of course, the eating part, we can adjust that later. But if you can start with one of them, you're better off with success. It's like taking one step up the stairs versus the success rate of you jumping 5 steps up the stairs every single time. That's higher likability of you falling or missing the steps. So with that being said, unless you're like a high jumper, maybe you'll have success with that. So that's at least to help Fred set up for preparing for sleep, how much sleep. And the final piece, like I said, that can really help again with that sleep, which sounds crazy, is actually how you start your day. Because how you start your day will affect how you end your day, regardless of what we want to say. So with that being said, your morning routine. And I'm not one of those crazy people that thinks that you have to stay strictly to every single specific thing that you set up for your morning routine. I'm obsessive compulsive myself. That works for me. Like I keep a certain order of things, but also I've taught myself not to be like messed up if I like forgot one thing in the morning. So don't do that. Definitely had that stress before. So with that being said, what my recommendations would be is, again, keep it simple, but at the very beginning when you wake up, have a set thing that's going to like get you started for that day. Okay, so write down like immediately when I wake up every single day, I'm going to maybe that's I'm gonna go get up, I'm gonna go brush my teeth, or I'm going to go kiss my wife, kiss my husband, whoever it is. Maybe it's I'm gonna go play with my cat, I'm gonna go read the Bible, I'm gonna go blah 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 blah. Whatever it is, have a starting point. Whatever kicks your day off. And then from there, just what's a few big things that can help you out is get out in natural light as soon as you can. That can be easier for some and way harder for others, depending on what climate you live in, depending on like what job you have, things like that. But try to get into natural light as soon as you can. That way it's sending the signal that you're waking up, and you're getting, again, there's so many obviously other things from natural light, vitamin D, blah blah blah. So that. And then another thing that kind of helps that a lot of people unfortunately still do, though, and it's hard to not do, is try to postpone the caffeine for at least an hour. I know that's crazy, but if you postpone it at least an hour, they actually, if you look at research, they tend to say 90 minutes, but an hour is more likable for people than 90 minutes. It's longer. So at least an hour. That's going to allow your body to have its natural wake up, because if we throw the caffeine too soon, we're just allowing the body to adapt into that. And for those people who go like, why aren't you using, like, you're not putting out any studies or giving me any, like, you know, you're a nerd junkie on research and everything. Why aren't you talking in big words? It's because, again, a lot of my stuff is, I want to speak like I'm speaking to my clients. So I want to keep it pretty simple. So with that being said, keep it simple. Try to go for an hour. It will allow your body to have its natural wake up and see the difference. And actually the caffeine will actually make more of a difference when you have it later in the day. Well, the hour later, don't do it in the afternoon before you're about to go to sleep. Then we'll just ruin what we talked about at the beginning, but you got my point. So with that being said, now we got Fred rocking out with his sleep routine in the night, setting himself up for success. He's planned out 9 hours so he can actually get close to 8 hours, if not more. And then also he's got a morning routine which will allow the naturalness of his body to get to that place of having a way better sleep routine as he goes into the nighttime. So with that being said, that's sleep. That's your big one as a reminder. The number one thing that's going to make the biggest difference to improving your physical health. I got to go into the store, so till next time.